Mining is one of the most important stats in all of Hypixel Skyblock, not only being able to make hundreds and millions of coins an hour, but it also allows you to get accessibility to special stat boosts that can help out other stats via gemstones. But if you're new to this game, understanding all the important mining stats, like mining speed, mining fortune, pristine, and etc., can be balls to the wall confusing. And in this video, I'll be briefly going over, not briefly, nah, I'm better than that. I'm going to describe them to you fundamentally in such a way that you won't understand it. Warning, this video contains math! And methamphetamine, starting with one of the more niche stats, breaking power. Breaking power is the stat that tells you whether you can break a block or not. Depending on your breaking power, you can or cannot break certain blocks. For example, you can't break mithril with a wooden pickaxe, due to its breaking power being lower than the mithril's breaking requirement. This stat you won't have to pay too much mind to due to how easy it is to increase with just basic tool upgrades from the shop in the Northern Mines, or just getting drill upgrades from the forge. A little bit more important than breaking power would be mining speed. Mining speed is how fast you can break a block, but due to some magical server Yahoo, your mining speed can be limited depending on the block's break strength, which, if you don't know a block's strength, you can talk to Frugilus, Fruity McTish, you ass, at the Northern Mines near the guy where you can apply gemstones to your tools and armor. The reason block strength is even important in the first place is because to be able to break a block faster, you have to meet something that's called a tick threshold. I don't know why this is, but there's a calculator that can help you figure what these tick thresholds are and what mining speed you need to have to meet these. But just put the block strength in, and it will tell you how much mining speed you need to meet the next threshold. Since this is the case, some very small mining speed upgrades won't do anything, rendering it completely useless. So next time you're getting a mining speed upgrade, whether that's from the Royal Reforge that you can put on your accessories like necklace, cloak, and all that, those small mining speed boosts might just literally do jack squiddly crap, or also known as nothing. It's worthless. One of the most important stats in all of mining for Hypixel is mining fortune. It's one of the most important stats due to getting more items more often from the blocks you break. Think of mining fortune as percentage and not a number. For example, one mining fortune is a 1% extra chance to get an item, which means every 100 mining fortune is a extra guaranteed item. Now, can differ depending on what you're mining. It's not exactly plus one item, but it's mainly just that. But, for example, if you have 1,250 mining fortune, you will get 12 guaranteed items and a 50% chance to get a 13th. Mining fortune does affect other stats that can be more useful, but we will get to that later. Cold resistance is a niche but needed endgaming mining stat. While in the glaciate tunnels or a mine shaft, your cold stat will increase, showing how long you have until you hit 100, which will instantly kill you and send you out of the mine shaft if you're in one, or just send you back to the base camp. Cold resistance takes that cold stat and makes it go up slower by a percentage. Once again, like mining fortune, think about it as a percentage and not a number. So for every cold res you have, think about it as a 1% more time you can be in cold areas, like the mine shafts. Having high cold can also lower your mining speed. So if you, make the cold come slower, you can keep that faster or your base mining speed up for longer. Pristine is the most important stat in all of mining. And even though it only affects gemstones, gemstones are one of the most important thing in all of Skyblock. And that is because it can not only make you hundreds of millions of coins an hour, it also helps boost stats in other aspects of the game. Peridot for farming fortune, Christine for forging fortune, Aquamarine for fishing speed. And with all that being really helpful, making Pristine the best mining stat in the game because Pristine just gives you more gems, a lot of people don't really know how it works. And me for the longest time as well. But for people who do think they know how it works, there are two types of people. People who have spent 7 hours on the wiki, and people who thinks it works like a personal compactor, where it takes all your rough gemstones and insta-turns them into flawed, which would explode the market and render gemstones useless because there are so many of them. And since that's obviously not the case, sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not how it works. And I'm going to try my best to explain it to you. Though, before I can explain how Pristine works, there is a warning. There's math involved. So you deodorantless, me too, showerless, me too, maidenless, me too, Hypixel Skyblock players who may or may not be masochists, if you're not into math, cover your ears. But if you don't care because you're a masochist, you freak, Then let me quickly explain it. But before I can explain pristine, let me explain another thing. When you're mining a gemstone, you get between 3 to 5 rough gemstones as a base. Now, what the hell does this have to do with anything about pristine? Trust me, it'll make sense in a minute here. Now, if you had 0 mining fortune and you broke a gemstone block and you're getting between 3 to 5, just as base, you are guaranteed between 3 to 5 plus 1, but we'll talk about that plus 1 later. It's not important right now. That actually affects your pristine. If in this hypothetical scenario you have 10 pristine, which is a 10% chance, and you broke a rough gemstone block and got 4 rough gems for the base drop, that game, the 4 will tell your pristine that to roll 4 times. So it'll be 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. Same if it was 3, 10%, 10%, 10%, or if it was 5. Just depending on how many roughs you got, your pristine will roll that many times. And depending on how many times it hits is, if you've ever, was mining and you seem to have doubled or tripled or quadrupled your pristine, this is why. Because depending on how much your base rough gemstone amount was, which there is no really easy way of seeing what it is, so it's really just gambling, but it's good gambling because you can't lose anything but your sanity. Pristine is also affected by mining fortune. So since we now know why it sometimes doubles or triples or quadruples, we should figure out how it works. If in this hypothetical scenario you have 12,000 mining fortune, or 1,200, and you get 3 roughs as your base drops, you will get 39 roughs in general, or just 39 roughs. Now, you might be looking at me like I'm an idiot because this is about pristine. We're not talking about rough gemstones, we're talking about flawed. But let me just get this out of the way. Skyblock players, am I right? I'm definitely not one. Anyways, you'll get 39 roughs, which might not make any sense because, well, if I divide my mining fortune, or this in this case, my 1,200 mining fortune by 100, it's only 12, and then 12 plus 3 is 15, so I should have only gotten 15 roughs. But how the roughs are calculated is actually multiplied. So it is your base drop, which is, in this hypothetical scenario, 3 multiplied by your mining fortune, which divide by 100, so 3 times 12, and then plus 1. Why plus 1? Because Simon Hypixle loves you and will propose to you November 5th, 2028. That works for flawed as well, but instead of multiplication, it's addition. So for the pristine procs, so since you're not getting like 87 flawed every time you proc your pristine, it's addition. So it takes what you get, so your mining fortune divided by 100 and then plus 1. And then times by the amount how many times you're pristine procced. If that didn't make any sense, I completely understand. The simpler version is big pristine equals big good, and big good equals big money. If you do have any questions, you can join my Discord or just ask me in the comments below. I can try my best to explain it to you, but hey, if you did find this video useful or helpful, please give a like, please subscribe. I really want to grow my channel. And I will see you all later whenever I make another video in the next 7 millenniums. See you next time.